morning. NOPEU, watu wa NOPEU. Tuko na mgeni leo anaitwa Mpuru, Rodgers Mpuru mwenyewe, kijana wa Meru. Yuko hapa kwa chama inaitwa NOPEU. Pale Meru nasikia NOPEU ni kusema utaenda. NOPEU utaenda kabisa. Karibu sana mdosi, habari leo?
Shukran bro.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Habari ya Meru?
Great.
Karibisha mic yako kidogo.
Shukran.
Watu wa Meru wanasemaje?
Meru wanasema NOPEU.
NOPEU, nani anaenda?
NOPEU is ni jina iko na deep meaning in Meru. If you tell someone NOPEU, it means no matter what.
Utakwenda.
Utaenda.
Upende usipende.
That is the last thing before panga. Yes.
Unapanga tena Meru?
After. Ukikosa kusikiza NOPEU,
unakula panga. So tuambie wewe ni nani pale NOPEU, na NOPEU ni nini haswa? Najua umetuambia NOPEU ni kwenda. Sasa tuambie NOPEU pia nasikia ni chama. Sasa tuambie Mpuru wewe ni nani, alafu chama ni kipi?
Kwa majina anaitwa Rodgers Mpuru. And mimi ni Secretary General wa chama inaitwa NOPEU. NOPEU kwa urefu ni National Ordinary People's Empowerment Union. This is a political party, a registered political party. We are party number 52. That is party number 53, I think, is TSP, the Blue Band Party.
The Blue Band Party.
Yes.
Yeah. Kunjuri akipatana na yeye.
Now, we are a fully registered party with offices all over the country. Na mimi ni SG wa chama.
Secretary General.
Yes.
Wale watu wa kelele kina Tuju na kina wewe sasa.
SG si wa kelele, SG ni wa kuongea kwa niaba ya chama.
Nasikianga mnavunjanga chama pia. Nimesikia kuna nyingine ilikunjwa huko juzi.
Gani
nasikia ilikorogwa na SG. Sasa nyinyi ndio mnakulanga chama.
SG anaongea kwa niaba ya chama. Ile kitu unajua chama iko na National Executive Council. Ile kitu wakikaa mkutano waseme, wanaambia SG ya toe ile message. Kwa hivyo SG hawezi toa message ambayo iko kivyake.
So NOPEU umesema National Ordinary People's Union. Headquarters iko wapi?
Headquarters iko hapa Nairobi. Tuko na ofisi 25.
25 offices.
Before you become a full registered party, you need to have half of the counties. You need to have offices in half of the counties. Na hiyo ni kitu ambacho tumetimiza. Lakini headquarters yetu iko hapa.
Headquarters iko Nairobi.
Yes, because this is a national party. Sio chama ya Wameru. Sio chama ya Mount Kenya. Hii ni chama kama vile ODM wa Jubilee.
Chama imeanza lini?
Chama imeanza, we started registering last year, lakini full registration tumepata mwaka huu.
Wow. Na tayari mnaambia watu wakwende?
Tayari tuko na candidates. Wacha hata kwa kwende. We have candidates.
Mko na candidates wapi?
We have candidates mkawa wendani. Tuko na Jaluo
by election pale.
Anaitwa Gori, by election ya Kiambu County. Niko na candidate Muranga, Gaturi Ward. Niko na candidate Lakeview Ward. That is Nakuru County for members of county assembly. Nakuru inapigwa Tuesday next week. Na nitapata kiti moja ama mbili kati hizo.
Tayari umeshatafuta kitu, umeshajua kuna kiti.
Nitapata. Yes.
Alright. Ni wapi kwingine mko na candidates? Yaani hukume maanzisha mwaka mmoja uliopita.
Nilikuwa na candidates Msambweni. Lakini ni kama aliweka mdomo mbele ya maendeleo.
Alitanguliza mdomo kabla ya maendeleo.
Aliweka mdomo mbele ya maendeleo. Akaitwa huko kunaitwa Hustlers Mansion.
Wewe jamaa Hustlers Mansion alikuwa candidate wa NOPEU.
Alikuwa candidate wangu na alikuwa namba 2 wa Jubilee last general election. He is a senior member in NAT. Unajua walimu wanakura. Na nikamwambia atapata kiti. Sababu alikuwa namba 2 wa ODM. Lakini ile aliitwa pale Hustlers Mansion. Akitoka kule alikuwa anasema NOPEU. Akirudi history kaisha.
Akasema NOPEU ndio NOPEU. NOPEU iende sasa.
NOPEU sasa iende. Sasa unajua mimi atungeshindana
kipe. Uko amupeane float huko NOPEU.
Float ni lazima.
Hata pakeva na siasa ni busy.
Float ni lazima. Lakini sasa unajua pia float ni ya raia. Lakini ukiweka mdomo mbele ya maendeleo, hiyo sio ideology ya chama. Hapana.
Ideology ya chama ni gani? What do you guys intend to achieve?
You know, NOPEU came in at this moment whereby watu wengi wanalia viongozi wao. Unaelewa vipi? Na sisi tukakaa chini kama a group of people with like-minded people, tukaona ni vizuri tukue na chama ambacho kinaingiza wale watu ordinary. Okay? Iko the ordinary mwananchi. You know, there is the social democracy in it.
Yes.
Whereby we want the communication ya watu isikuwe inatoka kwa pale juu kwa viongozi. Hawa watu wa chini hapa wanakaa chini, wao ndio wanajua shida zao, wanasema kule juu. That is the mode of communication that we need in our party. It is very simple. Yes.
Alright. Wacha tuende kwa shughuli ya leo. Nimeona kuna, I don't know, about comments. Muchendu, we lost a doctor the other day. A 28-year-old doctor.
Yes.
We lost to COVID-19. Na by the time alikuwa anakufa hakumpata mshahara kwa miezi 5. Na niliona kuna majamaa wanafanya upumbavu na maisha, wanakuja wanatengeneza fake payslip. Nimeona pia watu wanasema other people are dying, why should we worry when we lose one doctor? What are your thoughts on the fact that we are losing doctors to government who has refused to give them PPs?
I think it is an assertment that this government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta continues to have its priorities upside down. There is no way. I saw, is it Sospita Ojamo? A governor elected by the people to represent the interests of the people. He has the audacity of telling people that they should wait, Daktari, they should wait for BBI to pass and then we can think about them. What an idiotic statement from an elected governor, that you're telling the medics to wait. You know, I've always insisted, I have no problem with the changing of the constitution, because constitution is always a progressive document that can always be amended if it's gonna help in our administration, if it's gonna help in distribution of resources, if it's not, it's going to help on the service delivery. So, you know, changing the constitution is not something I have. But my problem is basically that you cannot put the changing of a constitution as the most prioritized thing in this government when doctors are dying and we have a pandemic with us. I mean, it's crazy. Today, Bitok, the economy of this nation is about to go down, and that is a fact. It is a fact. Look at the money market. Look at how Kenya shilling is doing. The economy is about to go down. We have a pandemic with us that needs to be taken care of. And in the midst of this, I read that the president is going to take a leave of 30 days. I mean, this is crazy. You have a 28-year-old man. This guy has left a 5-month-old baby without a father. He has dedicated himself. How much, you know, let me tell you, Bitok, it will take about 7 years for him to become a full doctor. Investing time, investing money, investing experience. Then this guy is forced to take care of COVID patient in an isolated facilities without the right things to use. And now he is dead, and he has left a wife and 5-month-old baby who will never have the honor of knowing the dad. And then I see some idiotic people who are paid 527 creating a fake payslip of this doctor claiming that he has been paid his money. It is the most idiotic thing I have seen. It is lack of patriotism from the fellow Kenyans. I mean, you are paid a simple peanuts so that you can tarnish a name of a 28-year-old who is now dead, who did not have the light protective gears, who did not have his salary paid, who has left a major bills in hospital. I mean, what is it? What is it gonna take this government to wake up from the slumber that they are? That our priority must not be BBI. We are not saying that this country should stagnate. We are not saying that we should not change the constitution. But changing of a constitution in the midst of a pandemic and in the midst of an economic crisis should be the least of our worry. Our worry today should to be dealing with this pandemic and to be dealing with economy. Bitok, I'm sad that up to now, I have not seen the National Economic Council coming up to tell us the recovery program of our economy, because our economy is going down, Bitok. It is going down. Every day, our Kenya shillings loses by a shilling. Our, what do you call it? Our interest rate on our external debt extends by 35 billion. Every day you hear that the Kenya shillings has gone down against the dollar by a shilling. You always know that the interest rate on our debt increases with 35 billion. Look at how the Kenya shillings has performed in the last 1 week. And it is telling you, this economy, we are heading to a place that we do not want to find ourselves. I've said here again that today Nigeria finds itself in recession because of the same mistakes that we continue to make. And we are not saying that we expect Uhuru Kenyatta to do magic, a miracle, but we are expecting him as the head of state to offer a solution on the way out. And I say this, we have seen that, it's sad that the International Monetary Fund is the one telling us how to trim the spending. Have you seen, we went and booked a loan of about 1.1 trillion from the International Monetary Fund. And in turn, they told us, we are going to give you the loan. But before we give you, you have to scramble tens and tens of parastatals. You have to cut on spending of this government. There is no way the International Monetary Fund is telling us to cut on spending. The Minister of Finance comes in front of the Treasury building and tells Kenyans to brace for a very tough 2021 year because of the measures they are going to make. They are saying they are going to retrench. They are saying they are going to increase taxes. And here we are telling us we have enough money to do a referendum. 14 billion, it is a stimulant. It is enough money to do a stimulant recovery program with the youths of this country who can bring out this economy from where it is right now. And I have insisted that until this government wakes up and realizing that the small business startups and the medium level companies are the ones that are going to take this economy to the heights, and until they decide to invest on that particular unit of our economy will continue going down. Because look at our debt level. It is sad. It is sad that we have a debt level that we are supposed to pay, but what we have already been given as debt cannot be seen. What has it done for common mwananchi? It's very sad to lose such a young person at this age and time. Shame on the government. Shame on the government of Alfred Mutua. Shame on the government of Uhuru Kenyatta.
Alfred Mutua actually said he has paid all the workers.
He has paid all the workers.
It's the national government which has not paid.
You see, if he has paid, who is supposed to? Okay, assuming he has paid all his workers and our good doctor was to be paid by the national government, who is supposed to provide the PPEs? Whose isolation is that? It is a county isolation center. He is supposed to provide every doctor in that isolation is complaining.
Right. Mpuru.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on the same thing?
I think we should not really politicize the issue of death of the doctor. Number one, what I'd like to say is I may not have used the public hospital in Machakas, but again, the issue of what comes first, if it is the COVID or BBI, it is way different things, because about the economy that Brother Muchendu is talking about, the economy is crumbling because COVID is all over the world. That we need to appreciate. Number two is the death of this young man is what is happening to any other profession. So we should not be really struggling about the same issue every now.
What are you talking about salary? Someone has not been paying salary for 5 months. PPEs are not available in government hospitals.
Yes,
should we excuse that?
We shouldn't excuse that. We shouldn't really politicize it, because We should
I'm not even
make-
looking at the politics in it. I'm looking at the, at the functional level conversation. Like, you're working.
Yes.
Let's assume you're a frontline worker.
Yes.
The government is supposed to provide you with PPEs.
Yes.
The government is supposed to give you your salary because you're working.
Yes.
Now, these are two things that are amazing. No PPEs, no salary for 5 months.
And that is why we are going back to the economy. That the economy is crumbling because of the same thing that is eating these people. And that is COVID-19. It's all over the world. It's the norm of the day. So politicians...
So,
need to-
also in other countries also, they are not being paid salaries and there are no PPEs.
I mean, we don't know about other countries' economies. But again, I yesterday, the day before yesterday, the DP said that the PPEs that are at KEMSA that are still under investigations, as we investigate them, we can give them to the doctors. Which I think is a noble idea. We should go that way. Because again, if these people down the tools, we are gone as a country. Completely no health, no country. Yes.
So what if they're down the tools? What do you think will happen?
I mean, if they down their tools, then we are colours completely.
Let's assume you're the Minister of Health. What would you do? Would you tell them, no, guys, you need to chill? Because the governor told them, you guys have to wait. Ngojeni tumalize BBI kwanza. Ojamong, aliwaambia jana, wadosi, tulieni kwanza kidogo, tumalize hii BBI, alafu tukirudi tuangalie mambo yenu.
That was it was not the best coming from a governor. But there's a better way to express it. Because BBI is equally as important as the general election. Let me tell you why. If you remember very well, BBI and handshake came after the disputed last general election. And this country, if it wasn't for the handshake and the BBI, it would have gone down to his knees. When everyone was down his knees or her knees, that is when the president and the right honorable prime minister, former prime minister, had the handshake. And I think if we can hold the BBI to wait for COVID, then we can equally wait
For the general election.
for the general election. People are talking about what it's equally important.
General election pia ingoje tumalize maneno ya COVID.
Kama tunangoja BBI tumalize COVID kwanza tuende BBI. Tuseme Uhuru aendelee COVID ishe. I mean,
You see, Bito,
it's equally important.
I think number one is that my friend is handling the issue of the doctors very carelessly, because we are in the midst of a pandemic. The doctor is a frontline responder. You cannot equate a first-line responder with a pandemic to any other profession, because there is no lawyer that is going to be in that emergency room. There is no engineer that is going to be in that emergency room. When my friend here needs oxygen, it is going to be the doctor. So in the midst of a pandemic, then the importance of a doctor becomes first priority, because this is the guy who is expected to deal with this pandemic. So you cannot equate the value of a doctor in the midst of a pandemic like any other profession. And then number two, when you are equating BBI to general election, you are simply telling us that we can lap our constitution the way we want. Where is BBI provided for in a constitution? BBI is just an agreement between two people in a certain room called Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. That they now want to force it on the throat of Kenyans. A general election, on the other hand, is provided for in the constitution. It is well articulated when we should have it. So therefore, when you are telling me, today, we are talking about, he has said that the reason why the economy is going down, it is because of the pandemic. Then, if the pandemic is the cause organism for our economy to go down, what should be the priority that this country should address? Because the economy is far much important than BBI. The economy of a nation is what keeps a nation afloat. And therefore, we should be able to work and see that we bring back our economy, we deal with this pandemic, and we ensure that as we bring other things, unnecessary things, because I keep on saying BBI is not necessity. It's not a necessity. You remember when we were studying in school, there was what we call primary needs and secondary needs.
Basic needs.
BBI is a purely a secondary need for the rights of this country. I will tell you that without blinking my eyes, because I will tell you, tell me, what is it that we cannot do today without BBI? Tell me, what is it that is contained in BBI that we cannot do, other than creating new possessions? Everything else in BBI can be done without it. This government, BITOC, does not require BBI to give tax holidays, as they are saying. And you know, when you talk about tax holidays, I find this nation so dishonest. Have you seen the Minister for Finance saying that we must blaze ourselves for a tough 2021? Let me tell you, BITOC, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, the most productive age of this country is the age of 23 to the age of 39. They are the biggest taxpayers in this republic. Forget the multinationals that are owned by a few people. That is the most productive age. We are saying we are going to give the youths a tax holiday of how many years?
7, is it?
years.
4? Or I don't know.
Is it 7 or
Should
9
be 7.
years? Should
Anyway,
be
there's a
7.
question from Mpuru. There's someone who is asking here. The doctors working at the front line. We've said, I mean, they should be working like any other. Even soldiers are dying at war. Or these other. What would happen if we sent soldiers to war without weapons, without bundukis?
First of all, let me put it this way. I'll answer that. But I would like to tell my big boss here that BBI has nothing to do with payment of doctors. Absolutely nothing. Go back to the reasons why we need BBI. BBI has absolutely nothing to do.
The reasons are as fake as the document itself.
There is no reason. I mean, where does BBI and doctors come in?
Vitu mbili tofauti.
Because we had the money estimates from the IEBC. It was an estimate, not the budget, that the IEBC said we'll spend this amount of money. It has nothing to do with payment of doctors' salaries. Number two,
let him finish.
The issue of jeshi kwenda bila bunduki watapigwa. So ndio tunasema zile
watatandikwa. Wataambiwa NOPEU.
Ndio tunasema zile PPEs ambazo ziko under investigation. Counties zipatiwe, wapatie madaktari. Then we discuss about the rest as wakiwa well equipped.
So tutapeana lini hizo vitu?
Sasa unajua hiyo ni policy of government ambayo wewe mwenyewe huwezi atuko kwa
BITOC. I'm listening to him and you cannot have your cake and eat it, my brother. Let me tell you. The authority and the agency under which this government is taking the issue of BBI, be it taking signatures, be it doing rounding, why is it not? You'll be surprised. Mutahi Kagwe, exactly today is 1 month, 3 weeks from the last time he stood at Afia House and gave directions that those PPEs must be taken to the hospitals and to the counties. We are 1 month, we are heading to 2 months. If we wind up this week, it will be 2 months from the first time Mutahi Kagwe issued a directive that those PPEs must be taken to hospitals. But this government is very quick to correct it. They are telling us in 1 week. They corrected 5 million signatures. And somebody from Chebi Desert received a booklet from BBI to sign for those whatever. What's stopping that government from using the same mechanism to get PPEs to Turkana? And then he argues that BBI has nothing to pay with, it has nothing to do with the payment of doctors. Unless you are not aware of the budgeting process in this republic. You tell me there is... Today, why are the doctors going to strike? They are not only striking because of the PPEs and the protective gears. There is also something called the corrective bargaining agreement between them and the government. I'll tell you, BITOC here without blinking, the money the government is supposed to pay to honor that CBA is less than what they want to use in BBI. So therefore, you cannot stand here and tell me that BBI and the money it will spend has nothing to do with the payment of doctors. You are very keen. I have seen the Senate committee. I have seen the Minister for Finance. I have seen Matiang'i, all of them meeting to discuss the budget of a possible referendum. Why can't you use the same agency to discuss the issue of doctors? Why can't you use the same agency to discuss the issue of PPEs? You know, that's my argument. Let me tell you. Great. I have not said that we should not do BBI. But the moment this government abdicates its responsibility to doctors and to Kenyans, we will start questioning what they have put as their priority. We are not saying that 14 billion can make a very big difference in the economy. Of course it cannot. But when the government shows its citizens that the most important thing to them is BBI, we shall still question that BBI, because even as you do BBI, can you kindly do what is needful for the local Wanjiko? The local Wanjiko wants to, if she gets out and goes to the next hospital, she will find drugs, she'll find a doctor, she will be attended. If you do that, will we have a problem with BBI? We will not. But the problem we are having with BBI, my friend, it is not that it is not important, but it is not the priority right now. But unfortunately, this government has made us to believe that the priority is the changing of a constitution. Will the changing of a constitution end a pandemic? Will the changing of a constitution pay doctors? Those are the questions we are asking. Because if this guy went 6 months without a salary, how will BBI settle his salary? He has left a family of 5 months with a 5-month-old baby and with a hospital bill. And the money is not paid. So when you are telling me BBI has nothing to do with paying of doctors, pay doctors first, then tells us we do not have a problem with doctors. We do not have a problem with the economy. Then you can do your BBI comfortably and we will not be objecting. But you cannot wake up in your light mind every morning as a president of the republic and all you are telling us is about a constitutional movement. That constitutional movement is all right. We don't have a problem with it. But that constitutional movement cannot be subjected into it cannot be made in the expense of a doctor who requires his salary and his PPEs. That's the problem we have with BBI. It is that it has become the center stage of conversation within government. The center stage should be taken by how are we going to eradicate this pandemic? How are we going to put our economy on a recovery trajectory? Those should be the center of discussion. It is not how we are going to make a position of a prime minister. How we I'll tell you, that document has some good things in it. But surely, my brother, can we, as we are doing that BBI, can we also not abscond duties that you swear to take care of on behalf of Kenyans? All right.
Talking about BBI, ODM, the star is BBI, ODM pushes for fresh amendments. Route are discussing changes that are likely to be announced by Friday. ODM, wanasema at a full stop, so they are now pushing for new amendments. I think from the other amendments that are done. You're not a member of ODM, you're a member of NOPEU. Yes. What is the stand of NOPEU on BBI?
No, for us, first of all, I'll tell my boss that I don't answer for the government. Okay? I'm not a government operative or an employee of the government. I don't work in the Ministry of Health. I'm a Secretary General of a party that has its own opinions. So I don't answer on behalf of anyone. I give my personal opinion of saying that BBI is as equal importance as the general election, okay? If it is in the constitution or not. The constitution is not 10 commandments, okay? What was there in 2010 is not what is there today. There is technology today. Things keep on changing every now and then. So you need to swallow the pride. And you don't bring your frustrations to people who really are not, they're not important. So, on the issue of ODM, I don't know what they want to edit or what they want to add or remove from the document, because I have no idea of how they...
Kama kila siku tutafika hasa BBI version 17.
Imekuwa mingi zaidi. imekuwa mingi sana.
NOPEU pia unafaa mulete yenu mzee, mnataka amendment.
Tuongeze ama tupunguze?
Hata muongeze ama mpunguze, mulete yenu ya Meru, tuseme tunataka miraa iwe constitutional
ndani ya katiba.
Yeah. So what is your stand on BBI as NOPEU?
We are in support of BBI.
Okay.
Full support of BBI. Yes.
Without reservations.
Without reservations. Yes.
What are some of the things that make NOPEU support BBI?
You see, NOPEU, as I told you, is basically based on the common, the ordinary raya. And we need to agree that this really BBI is talking much about the common raya, as well as women and youth. You've heard people talk about it. Muchendu has spoken about the tax havens. We have the issue of the PWDs and the BBI that have never been spoken about before. Those are many reasons why we sat down and decided to support the BBI. Yes.
Alright. So hizo ni mambo ya vijana, mambo ya wamama, ndio maana mna support BBI. So NOPEU supports BBI without any reservations for that reason.
Yes.
Alright, do you all think there is any amendments that needs to be done?
No.
Iende vile iko. Isonge.
Assist.
Muchendu. The amendments that are being introduced, ODM is now requesting for further amendments in the BBI report. And I understand last week it's reported that Ruto's and Uru's allies met at a secret meeting on the same BBI. Now they are saying they want to introduce ODM. The outer of the BBI report is now saying they want amendments. What do you think they could be looking at? And are we going to have a referendum anytime soon?
I believe they want to reintroduce the issue of political parties picking up the members of IEBC. That is one of the things that they want returned in BBI. We will wait and see what kind of other amendments they want to do. But then, if ODM is talking about amending BBI, then it can only ascertain the sentiments by the deputy president that it is not late to do the good thing. Because if ODM, of all the people, it is ODM now that is saying that they want an amendment on that particular document. It is just crazy. It doesn't make sense. I mean, you tell us that the door is closed. You tell us that there cannot be any amendments. And yet you are the first person to say that you want an amendment. Then there's something I want to understand, and I think when you are doing the Katiba Fridays talk, we want to understand from the members of the panel that you have prepared a document. It has been taken to Wajiko, and you have asked for her signature. Why do you give a signature? You give a signature saying that I have read that document, I have understood it, and I support it. So what happens if we amend the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020? Are we still going to use the same signatures that we have corrected, knowing that we will now have altered a document? Yeah, we will have altered a document. So what are we going to do? Do we go back to correct other signatures? Because if we say we use the same signatures they have corrected, then Wanjiko will have not signed for the right document. That's what I'm asking. Whether it is the DP who is asking for the amendment or it is the ODM, then if they do amendment of this document, I think legally they are required to come back and ask for signatures, because they will have altered the document that Wajiko may have read or not read in quotes. So I don't know how we are gonna go. That's why I'm telling you, this thing is not a necessity, surely. It is not a necessity. It is just a conversation to keep some politicians relevant in our government. It is nothing more. Some politicians are going BBI full throttle because they believe this is what will save their career as politicians. That's the truth. Other politicians are going full throttle because BBI comes with a floodgate of money coming with this BBI. The government, through the office of a certain woman here in Gigiri, will open the floodgate of national government money. Let me tell you, Kenyans have been taken for a ride. This is pure. We are being taken for a ride. The most important things to Kenyan do not matter to this.
Mpuru amesema kuna mambo ya vijana, kuna mambo ya wamama. Kwa nini unakataa Muchendu?
Acha nikwambie, whoever the politician from whichever cross divide, it is the, let me tell you.
Utaki vijana wapone? Ama wamama wapone?
Wapone nini? Wapone nini? Wapone nini? Let me tell you. Let me ask you.
Muchendu pende vijana.
Wacha nikwambie. Hii Kenya tuko na youth fund. Hii Kenya tuko na uwezo fund. Hii Kenya tuko na Women Enterprise Development Fund BITOC. Hii Kenya tuko na Equalization Fund. Hii Kenya tuko na cash transfer ya wazee, you know. We have all sort of finances BITOC. Can you tell us those particular parastatals, because those are government parastatals, what is it that they have done? I wish BITOC you'd have the honor of checking on the balance sheet of these particular parastatals. It would shock you. Why do you think that a piece of paper is gonna change? I told you, and I will repeat this until cows come home, you will never registrate good morals. You will never registrate good ideas of reading. Those will always come from individuals who are determined to make a change in this republic. That's the truth. There is no piece of paper that is going to work magic. If Mpuru here is a good man in Meru, it doesn't matter whether you change the constitution or you don't. It does not change his character as a person. And if his character as a person is to change the nature of this country and from where he comes from, that is what he's gonna focus on. We have enough laws in this country to help you BITOC or any other person who is willing to make a change in this country. Deliver it.
All right. Mpuru, what's your agenda?
I think the issue BBI really is one is oversubscribed. Because we have had people, most of us Kenyans, many people, even leaders, have not read the document. They you know, there's a BBI 1 and BBI 2 and 3.
And now we are heading to 4.
And now we are heading to 4.
So which one are you supporting? Because there are 3 BBI documents.
We are supporting the last one. Let's make education to our people. Was that because it's a democratic right to either vote yes or no without any intimidation or force. But we need to tell them the truth of what will benefit the common mwananchi on the document. And then it's absolutely up to the raia to either vote in BBI or not. It's a democratic right without hard feelings.
Alright. Imana kuna story hapa kidogo. Niona jana senator governor akivuta kibwana. Alisema alikuwa ametuma pole kwa familia ya Kabaka. Alikuwa ametuma kwa familia ya Kabaka senator. Na nimeona kuna mtu alikuja hapa akasema I'm trying to get that tweet by kivuta kibwana. Nasema I send my poles to the family of the honorable Senator Kabaka of Machakos as we pray for his speedy recovery. However, the rule of law demands equal treatment for all. A caring lady from Makueni who takes a gentleman in distress to hospital cannot be a murderer. She deserves a bail and justice. There's a guy called Steve Mutinda. Alisema Mutinda alikuja akasema these actions by police will make women not to call ambulance for us when we faint in action. Police should cease and desist. The issue of Kabaka. And you know, the court wants to, the police want to charge this lady with a murder.
I'm not trying to actually, sanitize the immoral acts. But I'm saying, why should that young lady be made to pay for the immoral activities of a senator? Because you take a lady and you take her to Kiambu. You take enhancement drugs so that you want to perform like a young man, but you're old, And then in the process, whatever you have done fails you, and the lady ends up paying for it. It is uncalled for. I mean, this guy, unajua inasemekana alikunywa hii madawa halafu ikakuwa shida kidogo kwake, kwa sababu unajua miaka imeenda. Mbona sasa tufanye huyu msichana ambiwe alipe, it is uncalled for, and I share in the sentiment of Kivutha Kibwana. That lady must not be made to pay for the extra marital affairs of the good senator. The good senator should actually, I hope he is okay now, he should actually go and withdraw any charges. Because we know labda alichukua madawa alafu binti akachelewa. So you know, I'm just saying.
Tenda ilichelewa.
Tenda ikachelewa kuingia bana. The final signature did not come through in time.
Chief alichelewa na karatasi ya kusaini.
You know, so let them not make this young girl pay. Because let me tell you, this has become a problem. We have even if it's not a senator, we have had a number of deaths that men are dying because of taking those drugs to enhance their sexual activities. And they take those drugs and then the person they expected becomes no show. And you had wanakula fare. Lakini wale wanakula
fare. So kitu inafaa unameza kwa shamba. Ukiwa tayari shambani.
You know, usianze, you know, unagoja unaona si kuosha mikono na ujiona food kwa meza. You know, you don't do it. But anyway, basically
usitoe kalamu kama unaona karatasi ya signature. Lazima uone chief kwanza na signature.
Uone chief amekuja na hiyo nini ya signature.
Mpuru. This is a very dangerous precedent. Watu wataanza kutuitia ambulance. Kikiumana wataanza kusema ukiita ambulance wanasema ni bada.
Hii maneno yote inamalizwa na kupiga tizi.
Ama itamalizwa na BBI. Tuweke BBI.
Hapana, maneno ya BBI tumeweka kando.
Inamalizwa na tizi.
Inamalizwa na tizi. Kula vizuri. Piga tizi. Bas. You don't need anything else. You don't need addictives. No. I mean, physical exercise is very important, especially at that age of the senator. I think is about 55 or so. Ukipiga tizi mzuri unakula tizi yako without really. Unajua ukifika hiyo miaka pia drink unapunguza.
Unapunguza kanywaji kwanza.
Unapunguza kanywaji, piga tizi mzuri. Performance itakuwa A1. But sasa ukikosa hiyo yote, ambulance lazima utaitiwa.
Lakini sasa unajua hii story ya kusema kuita watu madaras bana, kesho kikiumana nani atakuitia ambulance? Hapo
sasa itaungua.
Unajua alisema Kongo ni kupewa tawezana.
But you see if the lady had not called the police claiming rape, then it was an activity that was sanctioned by both parties. Now it would be very sad for us to charge the woman because of the failure of Bitok. If you fail to perform, you probably get a cardiac arrest because of the extra activity and terrestrial you have put in your body. Why should a woman pay for your mistakes? My friend, and you tell me the Kama is a bitch because the senator, when he was driving up to that residence, he did not expect that the wife will probably know what he was doing. But who is Kama? Not only the wife got to know, the entire republic got to know that you are with a woman and you miserably failed. So I think I will also caution the ladies that are in that particular business, because they call them escorts. It has become a booming business, especially in the upper market of Nairobi. It has become a booming business. I think you have to think very well whether that's something you really want to continue doing, because I will tell you today that lady is fighting for her freedom, and God knows she might end up in jail. You never know. She's fighting for her freedom just because of a few moments of, and you know, I'm reliably told for them it is not fun. It is always business.
It's biz.
It is
Right.
business. And then, what is wrong with men? What is fun in having or engaging in with a woman whose that particular activity is business? Can it ever be fun?
Don't usianze kuwa philosophical.
No,
These things are really happens. Yeah?
No, I'm just saying, Bitok, if you are moving today to go to Ravington and to meet a lady who is in business, particularly what Bitok calling pressure is business for her, they cannot. Because I believe sex is supposed to be enjoyed by two people who are enjoying it not because of what they are making. But unfortunately, it is what it is today.
It is what it is.
It is what it is today. It
Right.
is business.
Tuangalie gazeti.
Watu waangalie mabibi zao waache hiyo upuzi ya kwenda huko kwa.
Muchendu wewe. Isikuwa ni campaign unafanya hapo umekosana na mama asubuhi.
If you are not satisfied with your wife, marry another one.
Wana gazeti, tuangalie gazeti. People Daily inasema outfox Sonko still defiant. Nairobi's governor Mike Sonko is supposed to face senators today to plead his case while he has tried to stop the sitting through courts and friends. He says he's ready for his fate and will embarrass those behind the ulster. Let's talk about Mike Sonko. Mike Sonko alikuwa na MCAs 57 pale Mombasa, pale Kwale, and he was still impeached. Was that with you, Mpuru?
Yes.
Mpuru.
Yes.
The hii shida ya Sonkore anafaa kufinywa ama kunaendaje?
Sonkore alikuwa na MCA 57 coast, yeah. But unfortunately kura ilipigwa kwa mtandao. So physical participation yao haikuwa inatakikana. So we don't know who is talking the truth. Because Sonko anasema yeye watu yake accounts zilikuwa hacked. Lakini speaker anasema hawa watu walipiga kura. Sasa kura ilipigwa ikahesabiwa online na ameitwa Senate. Ajibu mashtaka, ajitetee kama vile Waititu alijitetea. Ajitetee kama vile Waiguru alijitetea. Kama atajitoa arudi county. Kama atajitoa basi akae kando.
Lakini unaona anaandwa ama ni ukweli huyu jamaa inafaa aende?
Sonko kuna mazuri alifanya. Unajua Sonko alifanya mazuri but to individuals. You know, at an individual level, to different people, especially huko ghetto maguns. Ule ni rais wa maguns Nairobi. Baba ya maguns Nairobi. Jamaa amesaidia maguns sana. Ametoa watu kwa crime wengi sana ghetto. Lakini kwa uptown wale ambao waangalii shida ya maguns, wanaangalia development ya barabara, wanaangalia electrification ya town, they did not feel that impact. So kuna opinion mbili. Guns wale ghetto wa mama, vijana wanamwabudu Sonkore sana. Lakini masosa hapa juu hawakufeel impact kwa sababu wao shida ya hustler na shida ya uptown is
two different things.
Kwa hivyo Sonkore anaweza kuwa anahandwa kwa sababu ya opinion ya wadosi ama pia hakuperform.
Lakini unaona itakuwa rahisi kusukuma Sonkore?
Sasa amefika karibu mwisho bwana. Jamaa ako pabaya.
Ameenda.
NOPEU.
Muchendu.
You know, if you ask me, Sonko is just a collateral damage of the harsh politics of this city. Yes, in this country. Let me tell you, there is no person who has sacrificed a lot for Jubilee in this city than Sonko himself. Honestly, he did all sort of circus to sell Jubilee in this city, including going to Akinyozi and being shaved with Uhuruto writings on the back. And he has called 1,000 people Shenzi, and all sort of names. Others' name I cannot say here. He has called them in the name of fighting for Jubilee. And I'll tell you, I fear for Sonko because he has been Waititoed. The day Waitito was being impeached in Kiambu County Assembly, I was seated in that assembly as the members of the public gallery. And I can tell you for a fact that the number of MCAs in that assembly didn't meet the prerequisite number to impeach Waititu. But nonetheless, the statement by the Speaker of the Kiambu County Assembly that the Speaker does not have eyes, neither does he have ears. People reason on his behalf and they see on his behalf. This is the problem with Sonko, and where I find that he may be beaten by the rain. The Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly was elected through a webinar. The current Speaker, Mutura, was not elected by members of the County Assembly physically in the Assembly. They were elected, he was elected, members were voting through webinar.
By Zoom.
The budget that Sonko has refused to send his signature on was passed through Zoom. You see, I know you're getting the curve now. So the impeachment motion of Sonko could not be any less important.
Yeah.
It has to be done through a webinar. You may have taken these people to Mombasa.
Mtu anatoka kidogo anaenda anafinya Zoom.
Mtu anaenda anafinya Zoom. Mtu anaweza anafinya Zoom. But I can also tell you, it is very easy to produce a Zoom. Mpuru here, kama hayuko and he is a member who logs into that particular session, it is very easy to corrupt IT siku hizi imeendelea. We can say Mpuru logged in at this time and voted yes to the motion. It's that simple. And let me tell you, the problem is that this particular motion is not an exercise by the Nairobi County Assembly. Nairobi County Assembly are just puppets. There is someone at the top who is, during when we were growing, when we were small, there was no these films and theaters. So you used to have people who would bring us puppets in school. He's seated at the top and he's controlling the puppet. That is the case of Nairobi County Assembly today. There is a higher power that is controlling the puppets. So the problem is the same power has now shifted gear from the Nairobi County Assembly to the Senate. And they will ensure that Sonko goes home. And let me tell you what is going to happen with Sonko. What happened with Waigoro? Waigoro got a committee that sanitized her.
At the Senate.
At the Senate. Waititu faced the entire membership in the committee of the whole house. Sonko is going to meet the committee of the whole house. Because the idea here, it is not whether Sonko has been able to. The idea here is to send Sonko home. And the same proponents you see pro-BBI and those against, it will be the same war in the Senate. Those pro-BBI will want to send Sonko home. Those against BBI
will want to save Sonko.
Sonko.
I've already seen Olekina is voting for Sonko.
But anyway, Mpuru, let's agree. Sonko is on the edge. But Sonko ni ule mse. Ni ule mse.
Amesema I'll embarrass them.
No, ni ule mse. I want to believe that he is that guy who left prison and we still elected him. He was a prison bad one time. Anything is possible because it is very clear. It is very clear that somebody wants Sonko gone. And I have told you, we have given the Nairobi Metropolitan Service in the current budget of the County Assembly of Nairobi about 35 billion. It's going to Nairobi Metropolitan Service. And I invited you to look at, interestingly, the people who have won tenders in the Nairobi Metropolitan Service. And you realize that it is 99% of those companies, they are connected to who is who in this country. The moment Sonko refused to sign the budget of Nairobi County Assembly, he stepped on the foot of the masos wenye Mpuru anasema Sonko is adhering to the hustlers of Nairobi. but masos now wanataka pesa yao. Si nilikwambia yes, did I tell you that including the former first lady of this republic, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, anadai serikali ya Nairobi pesa. Na anadai serikali ya Nairobi money because Jomo Kenyatta was once a meter leader in the Nairobi City Council and he was not paid his dues on retire. So sasa the first lady of this republic, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, anataka serikali ya Nairobi County imripe retirement benefit za mzee alikuwa anasoma mita hii Nairobi na hakulipwa. This country, man, you never cease to amaze. So let's hope, but I will tell you optimistically, I think it is an end for Sonko. Very unfortunately.
So Sonko is done. Sonko is gone.
I believe he's done, but not politically. He may be done for this particular season, but Mpuru has put it very well. Hawa Mahasura, you don't understand them. You don't understand them. The more you sumbua their Hasura, the more they get a firm grip on you. So they may have put Sonko down right now, but you never know about tomorrow. Today, Waititu was removed from governor of Kiambu. But if Waititu makes a visit to Kiambu today, you will still see people celebrating him in a very big way. Because that is the nature of human beings. Waititu was being removed by the Masonkore wa Kiambu. Because I believe he may not have been a good governor for Kiambu. He may not have performed as the people who elected him wanted to. But I don't believe he was the most corrupt governor to be sent in such a way out of office. We have even more corrupt governors who are still sitting in office. In any case, the case that sent Waititu home is about 500 million. Where is the Samburu governor today? He's still in office. He is accused of embezzling over 2 billion Kenya shillings. Nobody has ever brought a motion of no confidence in the Samburu County Assembly aletwe Nairobi. Unajua ni kwa nini? Masonkore wa Nairobi hawana interest Samburu. Lakini wako na interest Kiambu,
na Nyarofi.
Na Nyairofi.
Alright. Jato kwa gazeti ya Standard.
It's a game of interest and unfortunately so Sonko is
amekuwa collateral damage.
Amekuwa collateral damage.
Alright. The Standard inasema ndiye old grandma first person to get a job globally. The UK leads in the world in rolling out mass vaccination of its people with a fully tested COVID-19 drug in a global drive that poses one of the biggest logistical challenges in peacetime history as Monaco opts for Chinese version. Haya. Kuna mambo pale ya siasa pia imeingia kwa vaccine. Uhuru quiet on crisis as Raila's views draw fire. Wakati alisema tuko tafadhali medics tulieni. Medical workers strike with Kenya in the middle of the worst pandemic ever. The medical class is doing little to resolve a devastating strike by health workers protesting against the lack of essential supplies and poor work conditions as Kenyans feel the pain of neglect. LCS Mutai Kagwe says all eyes are on how his ministry will act to slow rising COVID-19 infections and deaths even as 5.9 billion supplies west away at Kemsa stores. Hallelujah. COG chair Wycliffe Oparanya, though health is devolved, governor's response to medics grievances has fallen awfully short, same as preparedness to deal with the pandemic. Deputy President is yet to offer any concrete solutions, instead using strike to fall BBI and ask the resources be channeled towards combating pandemic. President Uhuru Kenyatta is yet to comment on the debate on the health workers strike. In the 2 days, he has had a busy schedule with the youth. Alisema vijana barikeni Kenya isonge mbele. Woman in Senator saga can't utter fly. Police may release woman who was with Senator Kabaka when he fell ill, as leaders describe her as a caring, harmless woman of repute caught up in issues she had nothing to do with. Business between Kenya and the UK strike a shillings 200 billion free trade agreement. Exporters to enjoy duty-free access to United Kingdom market in the Economic Partnership Pact that marks the first step towards the broader ESC trade deal. Grand plan for school reopening. Good news for parents. The government plans to supply face masks, soaps and sanitizers to primary and secondary school students at a cost of 2.1 billion. when learning resumes next month. It will also spend 29 billion to construct additional classes and repair existing ones to expand learning spaces in the next 2 years, and another 10 billion to hire additional teachers according to COVID-19 recovery plan. As we talk about the measures that are going to be taken in the education sector, inasemekana ya kwamba desk bado hazijalipwa. Mpuru desk hazijalipwa za shule, na tumesema tutapeana sanitizer na face mask. Do you think this is going to happen?
It may not happen. You see, the government really need to take the issue COVID as important as it is taking the BBI issue. Because hata tukisema maneno ya desk rais alienda kufungua desk kwa umoja.
Nasikia mahali alifungua hata buja maji alipoanadia.
Ajalipo jamaa. So we need to push the government really well to take this issue COVID as important as it is taking the BBI. La sivyo mimi hata chama yangu itajiondoa because
Mwanza kuleta vitisho.
Yeah. Because
NOPEU wamesema serikali ita NOPEU.
Yeah, kwa sababu sisi tunatetea raia. Hatutetei tumbo zetu kama binafsi. Kwa hivyo kama serikali itachukua hiyo juhudi ya kuhakikisha issues za watoto shule zinashughulikiwa, then we don't.
Basi NOPEU pia ijitoka BBI.
We don't need to work with that government. And we have said it time and again. Yes.
SG ametoa warning.
We need to take it
very serious.
Very serious.
Na wewe unaonanga serikali by the way inakuwa serious na hizi stories zinatoanga.
Unajua government work hivyo tu. I mean all governments. You need to have a firm stand as a leader. Ikuwe wewe ukitoa directive pale juu inashughulikiwa hadi chini. Problem ni serikali ni communication. Na waogopi dosi. Unajua ukogoa bosi ni bosi.
Wajamaa waogopi bosi.
Waogopi bosi. Sasa ukosa kuogopa bosi. Ukosa kuogopa bosi. Unajua uoga pia ni heshima. Kosa kuogopa bosi hautamsikiza. Utamchukulia mzaha. Na hiyo ndio shida iko kwa.
Na labda bosi aja deserve respect. Unajua hii respect usema ununuangi
lakini labda bosi pia apige watu viboko. Anafaa wanyoroshe kama budake. Bosi akiwanyorosha viboko
ndio wataitikia.
Watasikiza pesa iko ya kufanyia kazi. Lakini bosi asikizwi. Shida kubwa hapa.
Alright, Muchendu. Wamesema serikali itumia mabilioni ya pesa kununua mask na sanitizer. Desk bado hajalipa 20 billion, 2 billion.
Now, who is in his right mind takes this government seriously? Surely. You know, at this age, let me tell you, and we had a discussion sometimes back here. How many directives has the president issued? You remember we had a directive. One time the president came into the previews of State House, and he said that he has given the DCI and the EACC 21 days. Was it 21 or 23 days to investigate the issue of COVID-19 haste and conclude that matter quickly? How many days are we today? From that time he did. We're about 116 or 117 days. Nobody has actually done anything. But I'll tell you the problem with boss. The problem with boss is that he has no time to proofread whatever is given to him. He does not take time to see what he is coming to read. He just wants to get into, he normally gets into the podium and the aide-de-camp gives him the statement and he reads. And I'll tell you the mistake, and I told you Bitok. You remember the first day he talked about, the desk. When he talked about the desk, the following day I was on this show. And I told Bitok that particular issue to do with desk will become something that is going to haunt us from that day. I have personally visited the same place the president went for those desks. Mpuru, and I should pay a visit to that guy. Zile desk zimejaa hapo Bitok.
Ziko kwa barabarani
zimejengwa because the president promised that, because his workshop has been used as the demonstration workshop. He will be the first to get business. The government has never paid a single dime to that young man who was on TV showing the president how the desk is going to work. But you know the problem here is what, Mpuru? The moment as the head of state and as the leader of the government, you do not take a center stage on any particular program the government comes up with, you end up having, in Kikuyu tumetaka tulianime. There are those people who have taken advantage of the fact that the president is not keen. The president has trusted his men to do the job, and he does not take time to look at it. So the men come up, and I told you, Bitok, we are here today. I told you that is a money-making program. Because I told you, the moment they started asking that wale ma carpenter wanataka kupewa hii kazi wapeleke documentation kwa provincials, they were asked to go to their district and take their documentation there. The moment, Mpuru, you start a program, they talked about this program about 2 months or 3 months ago, and they said that they want that concluded in 3 months. The moment someone comes up with a program that is gonna take 3 months, and then you go ahead to ask people to actually come with document of registration of their companies, you are telling that small person carpenter who does not and has not registered a business, he is automatically locked out. And therefore, who are left to compete? It is the issue suspect who have their papers in order. That is why they gave a timeline on, you remember, the day they announced, they gave a timeline of 1 month for people to submit their document. In 1 month, if Mpuru, you did not have a registered business, is it possible that you are going to be able to register that business in 1 month and become tax compliant and get all the necessary prerequisites? Are you going to be able to do it in 1 month? So therefore, from the word go, the small person there in the village was already rocked out of this particular business. It was business meant for people who had already strategically positioned themselves for this business. And I have always insisted the government is undertaking the free and secondary primary education. Who receives that money? On
the
behalf
schools.
of the board of the school. It is the principal.
Yes.
Who is principals are the secretaries of these boards, school boards. They receive that money Bitok. What was so different in where Mpuru comes from, in that primary school you went, there is a principal. That principal knows that school requires 20 desks. What was so hard with using the already established mechanism to release that money to school? Kwa sababu, mimi naonanga like the secondary schools that are surrounding us, the people supplying milk to those secondary schools ni wale tu wako hapo. The people surrounding Boga, the people surrounding market materials to the school, ni wale tu wako hapo. So therefore, I have also seen CDF contract rock carpenters to do rockers and desk, and they give to school. If you do not see the need to give that money to the principal through the free primary and secondary school education line, give that money to CDF, which is making so many desks. In fact, there is no bigger person who has spent money on desk anywhere in Kenya than CDF. So you could have easily given that money to CDF or give it to through free primary and secondary school program. But because there is someone with interest to eat this money, it was chosen that money must go through provincial public administration. It is the most idiotic thing. This government, it is never serious on anything. I mean, how do you take... I told you, go to Chebi Desert in Turkana. Kids are still learning under a tree in 21st century. The government has said that it will provide desk. Let them provide desk to Turkana, and you are providing desk into Turkana where there is no crisis. And yet we have CDFs that has been given money there. It is this government lack of seriousness and lack of toughness in implementation of its program that has failed. And unfortunately so, is that the president has not taken keen to look into the successes of the program his government has initiated. And you know, the buck stops at him as a president.
Right.
He is the guy who gets to stand on the podium and promise these programs and make declarations. But he will also be the guy who receives eggs on his face when his officers refuses to actually actualize this program.
Amesema mwache kumtusi. Haya,
Nani
tuangalie.
amemtusi?
Leo unamtusi Twitter na nini hapa.
Bana,
Haya, acha tusonge kwa gazeti.
Before you lash me into going to the next,
Yes.
people must differentiate the respect, because we respect our president. He is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He is the symbol of the national unity of this country. But we respect the president enough so that we can tell him the truth. It might be sweet, it might be so, but it remains the truth. So let nobody bring that nonsense of Mugathe, Munene wa Bururi, Mutongoria, Muthamaki, all those names. They are good. We respect him. But telling him the truth must never, and I repeat, must never be taken for disrespect of the president. Because we are having so many sycophants, Kinakanini Kega and whoever, telling us about respecting Mugathe. Respecting Mugathe is telling him this economy is heading to the dogs and he needs to wake up from his slumber and take rid of this country. We have given him mandate. He did not actually angusha ene serikali. Wakenya walimpatia hii serikali. But these same people are telling him the truth. My friend, you are steering this ship in the wrong direction.
All right. I was saying on the Standard on page 2, kuna story hapa ya Standard page 2. Inasema Raila faces backlash on plight of doctors. Uhuru keeps mum. Uhuru Kenyatta continues to keep quiet or to keep mum on the issues that are affecting doctors. Do you think you should be acting differently, Mpuru?
On the issue doctors and the president.
Yes. Raila ndio amelimwa sahi. Raila alisema tulieni kidogo, acha tumalize maneno ya BBI tukuje kushughulikia. Amesema you need to be more patient. Uhuru Kenyatta continues to keep quiet on the plight of doctors. Nurses are on day 3 of strikes.
I don't think Raila said tungoje maneno ya BBI.
Alisema let's be more understanding.
Yes.
Alisema be more understanding. Yes. Alisema be more yes. I think I picked the words from the other guy. Alisema be more understanding. The country is in a pandemic. We are in a difficult time.
Yeah, those are statements that have come from leaders even before. Even those strikes have been there. Even during Kibaki's, there was the longest doctor strike, Kibaki administration, which we really we use as a precedent. So Raila alisema watu hatulie kidogo. It is not the right time to put the government at ransom. I think that was his right words. The president has been mum on it. Raila does not speak for the government. He is not in government. Ni opinion yake kibinafsi. Lakini unajua kama kiongozi ukitoa opinion hata ikuwe ni nzuri ama mbaya, lazima iko watu.
We know he constitutionally may not be in government, my friend. But we don't live in another country. We live in this Republic of Kenya. And I think for me, it is a question of, and please understand doctors, be talk. Doctors do not want to put this government at loggerheads. But doctors are complaining and they are striking because of a collective bargaining agreement that was not signed in 2020. It was not signed in 2019. It was not signed in 2018. It is a collective CBA that has been there for some time. Government has refused to honor it, BITOC saying there is no money to honor it. So when you tell doctors there is no money to honor a collective bargaining agreement that is already signed between them and the government, BITOC, and then you tell us that you want to set aside money for a referendum, you are telling the doctors they are coming a second fiddle to the BBI. So therefore, why won't the doctors union take government at ransom if the priorities are not the doctors, if the priorities in BBI? I say they strike.
Right.
I say they strike. If government can find time, they can find money. We have launched BBI, relaunch BBI, launch again.
Now we
are
editing,
now
then we
heading
launch
to
again.
another relaunch. Money spending. You know, I have seen training in BBI in my county where participants are being paid 10,000, and somebody continues to say that ati hatutumi pesa ya serikali. Our international friends wanaona importance ya hii BBI, ndio maana wametupea pesa. My friend, why do they take us for idiots or people who do not understand? See, if the government, and I said, if the government has dealt with the issues of doctors, nobody would look at what they are spending on BBI today. Because ukihesabu ile pesa imepotea, BBI is just a tip of the iceberg. But because the government haiwekei mkazo yale mambo yanahusu Mkenya wa kawaida, sasa mimi kama Mkenya wa kawaida itabidi nianze kukosoa yale mambo serikali inafanya. Kwa sababu kama daktari anafaa kulipwa na serikali haimlipi, kama daktari anafaa kuwa na protective gear na serikali haimpei, kama daktari anafaa kuwa amelipwa mshahara na serikali hailipi, kwa nini sana nisiangalie pahali serikali imeweka mikono na macho yake? Leo hii serikali imewekelea mkazo BBI. Kama wanataka kupitisha BBI, waweke mkazo ule ule katika mambo ya wauguzi wa nchi. Waweke mkazo katika mambo yale yanahusu mwananchi wa kawaida. Hiyo ndio tu tunasema, hatuna shida na wao kufanya BBI. Lakini tusifanye BBI tukose kufanya mambo mengine. Uchumi wa nchi hii waenda chini. Hii serikali ni kama is the don't care attitude of our president is what is trickling down in this government.
All right, let's talk about DPP. There was a guy called Humphrey Kariuki of I think it was War Beverages. I think it was. He had been accused of tax evasion. Today he has been acquitted. The DPP says they have not provided witnesses. The court have acquitted him.
And allow me to go first because I have canvassed this issue here again. Mpuru. It is a game of interest in this country. We know the first family has invested heavily in the alcohol business. They have purchased the Mauritius plant. They now are one of the biggest shareholders in the East Africa breweries. One person called Kariuki and another lady called the MD of Kiroche Industries, Tabitha Karanja. Is it Tabitha Karanja?
Yes.
Tabitha Karanja. They are being sacrificed so that a certain family can take the head in this business, alcohol business. Kariuki was subjected into humiliations. In fact, I say that he should sue the government of Kenya for the humiliation he has gone through. Tabitha Karanja and the husband were humiliated in front of cameras because you never understand what is the relationship between the media and the Subarus. When the Subarus are there to pick you up, it seems the media gets to know even before you come to be picked up. Because they want to embarrass you in the front of the whole nation. These people, they will continue to deal with private business people who have made it as long as they have interest in the businesses they conduct. We have seen what has been done in the milk business in this republic. That's the truth. We are seeing the trend that is heading into the petroleum business. We are now looking at the business of alcohol in this republic. There are people who want to have a monopoly of controlling that business. And it doesn't matter to them as long as they will get control. It does not matter who they crash on the way there. And it is unfortunate because Kenya is a capitalist, competitive economy. If Mpuru want to invest in sorghum and Muchendu want to invest in sorghum, let the best person convince the client to join his wagon. That is the nature of our economy. But there are people who are using government apparatus. You know that guy was stopped from selling alcohol. He was stopped from doing business. You imagine the many months he has gone through hell trying to abdicate himself from those crimes. Today, he has been set free. Are you going to compensate the time he has not done business in this republic? Are you going to compensate the humiliation you have taken him through? And that is why I'm telling the Republic of Kenya and the citizen of this republic, we must say no to autocracy, because autocracy is gonna lead this country to collapse. If you can read an article that was done by David D about 4 years ago on the state autocracy, you realize that there are people who position themselves in government not because they want to help Wajiko. They have positioned themselves in government because they want to advance the interest of private family businesses. And this is something this republic must say no to. I want to believe that if Mpuru here decides to invest, he has the liberty and the freedom to actually scale his business to the best height he can, without intimidation of the state functions, without intimidation of the state machineries. Karaoke is a clear example of the extra means the state is using to coerce business people to move away from their businesses, to move away from what gives them money, because a certain individual, a certain family, a certain set of rich people want to control that business. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that the DCI, that the DPP, that the EACC have now become a tool to be used by government to press those people they believe are giving them competition. It's very wrong. And that's something that really hurts me talk. That somebody in government has the audacity and goes ahead to use the government machineries to oppress me because he believes I'm doing better in a field that he wants to invest. It's very wrong. And I must tell Kenyans to call this government for what it is. We have endured the bigotry of this government for a very long time. We must tell them the truth. And I pray that Karaoke will go ahead and sue this republic for the billions that he has lost because somebody somewhere wanted to suppress him from doing the same business so that he can get a head start. It's very wrong.
Mpuru,
Yes.
is DPP more political than functional? They have frustrated this guy. They closed down the business. Now they've acquitted. The courts have acquitted because the DPP who took him to court cannot provide witnesses and evidences.
The issue for Humphrey Karaoke has been there for like 3 years now down the line.
Yeah.
I personally, I may not be in a position to say, as he has said, that there is the big operatives in government who have interest in alcohol, because I do not know. I don't know who owns what. But let us just face it this way and be realistic. There is the private business people in this country who have been accused before of things to do with money laundering and what have you.
Yeah.
We have people who have different citizenships and people having different accounts in the tax havens of the world. The Virgin Islands, in Dubai and all over the world.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, these are such people that the government is investigating, and it seems Karaoke was one of them. He is a businessman. He may be a legit businessman. We don't know about his operatives, but the issue of really you having big accounts in the tax havens of the world, it raises the eyebrows. You know, where are you getting all these big amounts of money, even if you're not in government? Where are you getting these big amounts of money from? And that is where I think the issue came in. It's not about, it may be about interest of the big families interested in the alcohol business, as Muchendu said. But I really
let him finish his thoughts.
I really don't think it is all about business. It may not be all about business. I mean, I cannot castigate the government on that, because those are private companies that are individual based. Yes.
All right.
You know, I want to categorically tell Mpuru, the issue and the case of Karaoke, which I have clearly followed, it had nothing to do with whether he has money in those accounts or not. He was being accused of evading tax. Evasion of tax. So evasion of tax it is government has calculated, they would say they have calculated how much investment you have made, how much you have done, how much you have made, what profit have you declared. So you are supposed to have paid this amount of tax. And therefore, you know what they said, eh? The issue, especially on the distilling industry, there is a very big issue with how ethanol is taxed. It's the biggest elephant in the house when it comes to the distilling industry. So he was being accused probably of importing ethanol without paying tax and all those things. And he took his case to court, executed it. And I'll tell you another problem, Mpuru, we have in this republic. We have an inefficient DPP. We have an inefficient DCI. That we bring a legal case and a case that can start merit before Mpuru. But the elements that have been given authority to investigate and come up with the evidence fall short of what they're supposed to do. And that's the problem. You couple that with people in business who have various multiple interests to be able to force you out of a property, force you out of your business. Yesterday, there was a ruling, you remember the former member of parliament for Limuru, the Honorable George Nyanja, a.k.a. Jano Kayava. You know, he has a property here, just here, opposite Prestige. Now, apparently, the government has said that he does not own that property. In fact, they have gone ahead to tell him that he will pay 35 years of rent. He has stayed in that property. 35 years of rent in a prime plot in Gong Road, opposite Prestige Plaza. And you saw, I'll tell you, because I have worked for that guy, he pressed the wrong.
In fact, you look alike.
Watch your language, my friend. You big utaletewa. For the purposes of the Takra, I have no blood relationship with the Honorable Nyanja.
Someone actually mentioned last time.
Yeah,
Maybe they could be
still
related.
mentioned, yes. So, when I tell you, Mpuru, that there are people in this government who are using this government to settle business, personal, political scores, I know exactly what I'm saying. And it is the biggest problem we have in this republic. That not only can I be sure that if I make the wrong political statement, that somebody will be behind my back, it is now also a problem that if I make for business, I'll give you a story of a friend of mine who has invested in pig farming somewhere in the Rift Valley. Today, he has a farm of about 6,000 pigs. He was telling me a story the other day that a group representing the who is who in this country visited his farm, and they were acquiring whether he can be able to sell the farm, because he has identified pig farming as a farming business that can make him rich. There are people in government who have also, through NIS, discovered that he has one of the biggest pig farm in the country, and he is making money. Now somebody is going to forcibly ask him to sell his property. It has come to that in this republic, that if you start a business and the business starts making it, there are people who feel that it is their right to now venture into that business. They wait for Mpuru to start a business, they wait for it to flourish, they wait for Mpuru to do the dirty work of looking for the market, looking for the right food stuff for the pigs. Once you have done the groundwork,
They come and squeeze you.
they come and squeeze you and take over your business. That is the reality of this republic today. That you are not only fearing making the wrong statement, you are also fearing making a flourishing business. It's very wrong. And it's very wrong. And Kenyans must wake up to that fact, that we must say no to autocracy, because that is nothing. Autocracy today, for lack of a better word, Uhuru is showing us a government that is, for more or less, an authoritarian kind of a government. Because Mpuru should become a billionaire, whether he is, and most people who make it in business, Mpuru, do not have interest in active politics. They just want to make their money in silence and expand their empires. Now even doing that is becoming a problem in this republic, because there is someone in government who is looking at the books at KRA. Bitok now huyu mtu analipa tax ya 400 million, 500 million a year. Ebu angalieni ile biashara anafanya. And before you know it, you hear you have evaded tax, you have done this. Those are the things to force you to sell. That is what they are doing in this country. And it's uncalled for. It is uncalled for. Kenyans must be around. If you want to venture into politics, go do politics. If you want to venture into business, do your business without the fear that there will be repatriations after you succeed in business.
Against you. Alright. There's another story here. Sasa Mpuru kesho akianza wakiona wanatengeneza pesa sana kwa hiyo salvage yako, ataanza kusema sheria you cannot sell salvage vehicles. Sema gari ikiisha inashagwa inakuwa mabati. Inakuwa melted mabati. That is how the country works, and it's quite sad that's how it works. Now there's a story on page 9 of the People Daily about KEMSA. Inasemekana ya kwamba kuna huyu mdosi wa KEMSA anasema alikuwa wailed. Acha tuangalie kwanza headline. Inasema wakimbize kwa hiyo story haraka sana. Iko page 9 actually, but let me look at page 1 first. Inasema nini? The page 1 kwa hiyo headline inasema KEMSA manager wailed after a call from above. Hii inaitwa a call from above. The guy is called Charles Juma and Jona Manjari. Charles Juma anasemekana alipatikana akilia kwa ofisi na PA wake kwa sababu ya masimu kutoka kwa Jona Manjari. Kumbe Jona Manjari ndio call from above. Let's tuangalie story yenyewe. The story is on page 9. It's on page 9 of the People Daily. Acha niwasomee kidogo ndio msikie mjue Kenya venye inakuanga. Alright. Is the story. Tunaangalia story inasemaje. Personal assistant to top officials tells House Committee a boss was put under pressure. A parliamentary investigating alleged theft of funds at the KEMSA, Kenya Medical Supplies, yesterday added how top managers received night calls to backdate tenders award to influential individuals. Appearing before the Public Investment Committee, PIC, Pamela Kaburu, a personal secretary to the Director of Procurement at KEMSA, Charles Juma, said a boss used to receive calls from the Chief Executive, Jona Manjari, late at night and during off days and even while on leave to sign commitment letters for tenders. The bitterness. My boss was under intense pressure. He used to receive calls from the CEO to sign commitment letters and backdate them without asking any questions, Kaburu told the committee. She said that one time she found a boss crying in his office, and when she asked what the problem was, he said he was prepared to quit his job since he would not withstand the pressure coming from his boss. I was shocked to find Juma crying in his office. Bitterness was written all over his face as I pleaded with him to calm down. He explained how he was being tossed around to do things he knew were unlawful. Mpuru. That one's an hour. Nasoma hiyo story. Jamaa Juma alikuwa analia kwa ofisi kutoka kwa pressure ya wadosi huko juu. I mean, the problem that we have in this country. Unajua tunaangalia tunasema hapana, shida ni wananchi, shida ni let's fix this. The problem that we have, do you think the problem yenye tuko nayo inatoka juu ama ni chini? What should be the approach in fixing it?
Unajua huyo ni secretary anasema Juma alikuwa analia, sio?
Yep.
Because of the pressure and the many calls from Manjari,
yes,
who was the CEO. What if?
Anasema calls from above.
No, what if hiyo maneno haingejulikana? Angejitoa huyo Juma analia.
Alisema he was ready to quit his job.
No, no. Why cry? Why cry and start saying you should not say you are receiving calls from above and pressure and being tossed up and down by your boss. Go report. You know you are doing something unlawful. Maybe, I mean, if you didn't report at that particular moment, that means ata yeye alikula. You shouldn't cry. Why cry? Go to the station and report that my boss is forcing me to do something unlawful, to backdate a commitment letter. I don't you know, no, hiyo kulia itamtoa pale. No. Use msaidia. There was the right thing to do at that particular moment. That you're being called by your boss and being told, backdate this letter, the commitment letter from May to April or from April to January. You should have reported to the authorities then. That means there is no integrity even in him. Yes.
All right, Muchendu. Juma whipped.
I have always.
Mpuru very ruthless.
I don't want to say that I knew that the COVID haste is gonna happen, but I remember questioning the process of picking up the CEO for the Kenya KEMSA. The process that picked up Majari. I'm talking because I know Majari on a personal level. I've worked for the Kiambu County government. He was the CEC for health in Kiambu government during Kabogo's time, together with Dr. Jogona, who was the COH. They did a very great job in Kiambu. But how Manjari was picked as the CEO always remains very suspicious, Bitok. And I think the problem we have, and what Mpuru is saying, let me tell you the problem why such people who are crying will not say no to the advances from above. Mpuru, when you are not given a job on merits, you are not given a job on a competitive means. You are given a job because you know who is who. For you to remain in that job, you will have to praise the same hands that gave you that job. And that is the problem we have with so many people who are finding themselves behind bars. Today, the people who are taken to court, Bitok with Waitito, they were suspended from job. Young people, young engineers, they were suspended from work. That's why I'm saying, Mpuri, get a job on a merit. When you get a job on merit in a government institution or facility, you can be able to refuse advances from the senior people. But if today Muchendu is given a job in KEMSA by Manjari, as an accountant, or as a, a procurement officer, I know I did not go through the competitive means. So Manjari tells me that when you open the tenders, I want you to...
Just pick it up. Hello.
Yes, Jaran.
Yeah, Jambo.
Boss, boss.
Niambie.
This is Rune Kanoru Junior.
Nani?
Rune Kanoru
This is
Junior.
Rune Kanoru.
Hey, Jambo, niambie dadi.
Calling from Tigania East.
Yes, watu wa Tigania. Ambari gani?
Hello.
Ambari gani? Tunakusikia
Sema
tambia.
kabisa. Nataka uambie our Secretary General this. Tuko na imani na yeye. Na tunajua chama yake hakuna mambo ya shortcut. Mwenye kushinda ndo mwenye kupewa certificate. So mwambie ajue tuko na imani na yeye. Na tuko na yeye mpaka mwisho.
Mpaka kwa kamba.
Shukran sana.
Mpaka kwa kamba.
Amesema hii bibi yao kikoroga NOPEU itasema bibi yao NOPEU.
Bibi yao NOPEU.
Umeshalima na bibi yao tena.
Tunasema
ground mnasemaje?
Kwa ground, kwa chama yetu ya NOPEU tuko sawa, tuko pamoja na Secretary General.
Okay.
Lakini hapa kwa bibi yao tunalemewa.
Iko shida.
Bibi ya mko.
Kwa bibi yao tunalemewa kidogo ndugu yangu. Sababu punda amechoka.
Lakini SG amesema ako ndani ya bibi yao.
Punda amechoka lakini haina shinda, akituelezea kwa ground tutajua ni aje.
Ama ongeza wape punda vitamin energizer.
Sawa ndugu yangu, lakini ile kitu ya maana anafaa ajue tuko na imani na yeye na tuko naye mpaka mwisho.
Asante sana ndugu yangu, thank you so much.
Sawa ndugu yangu.
Thank you, have a good day. Muchendu, unasikia Mpuru, acha tu Mpuru, unasikia watu wako wanasema bibi yake hapo imelemea kidogo, wanasema wako na wewe, lakini mambo ya bibi yake
anasema nikienda ground niwaeleze watajua na mimi.
Amesema funda amechoka. Muchendu, you are continuing.
He's separating the issues of the party.
And that's how we need to work. And that
is a member you want to retain in the
Kabisa.
party. Kabisa. You know, I think we must realign the priorities in this republic. Changing the constitution is something that is provided for in the constitution that we have. That our constitution is a progressive document that editing and changing that constitution with the change in time, technology, and how we do things, it is something that is gonna happen one way or the other. And we are not disputing. There is nobody Mpuru that is questioning the changing of or amending of our constitution. Nobody is. I'm sure you have not heard anybody saying it is wrong to amend the constitution. Nobody has disputed that fact, that we would need to amend the constitution because we are progressively growing and we are progressively becoming a nation of ideas and all those things. But the timing and the priority and how we do it is the one that is becoming the problem. That even as we propagate the ideas of BBI, doing town hall meetings and all those things, where are we putting the issues of the doctor? Where are you putting the issues of the common Wanjiko, whose livelihood is going up? In the last review of the Energy Regulatory Authority, the cost of gas has gone up. It is utmostly affecting Wanjiko because that means the fare has to go up. We have the COVID rules that require matatu to do halfway passengers. It also means that that passenger that gets into that matatu gets to pay twice to compensate for that particular seat that will not go with anybody.
Right.
Capping that with the additional cost of fuel, it becomes a problem for this republic. So I pray that this government, even as you put efforts on the Building Bridges initiative, use the same effort, use the same zeal, use the same power and authority to address other important issues to Kenyans. And I promise you, you will not see anybody fighting BBI. If you can use the same energy on other issues that affect the common Wajiko, you will not see anybody fighting this process. But the moment you negate the important things to Wajiko and make BBI Oliver and Omega in the running of this government, it's like that document will magically do things in this republic. This country has an infrastructure of rules that people elected choose not to implement. That's why we are here today.
Tunamaliza. Mpuru, your closing remarks. Ushapewa warning ground ya BBI?
Ground warning nimepewa lakini nimewa.
Sema utaenda utibu. So weekend kimbia.
Weekend naenda I'll be in Nakuru tomorrow and the day after. Kura tunapiga tarehe 15. That will be on Tuesday.
Yeah, Lakeview.
For Lakeview.
MCA wenu anaitwaje pale wa Lakeview, mgombea wa MCA?
Niko na daktari changamfu pale anaitwa Justice. I'll give you his
utanipea details yake, utanipea na posta kama ipo.
Now my parting shot on this thing is I would love to invite everyone to National Ordinary People's Empowerment Union.
Anza na Muchendu hapa.
Muchendu nitaanza na yeye na kumkaribisha sana kwa chama. Hii ni chama ambayo iko na demokrasia. You know the many of the political parties there's no party democracy.
Yes.
Ni chama ambayo you own it as an individual. Now we will be doing mass recruitment very soon. I want to do it it will be system based, whereby you dial USSD that I'll come up with. We are doing system development right now. Kwa hivyo tutawajulisha raia na njia ya kuregister kama mwanachama
na kujumuika na NOPEU
na kujihusisha kwa activities za chama. We will also have our elections maybe next year for hiyo sio kubwa, sio BBI, haihitaji pesa ya serikali.
Na Gumbo wanajimia pesa. Gumbo unajua anatumia pesa za serikali. Mpuru is very wise.
And you sit on that chair and you sound
but unajua we are also talking about an uncompetitive referendum.
Yes.
That will bring both sides together. That can break this deadlock. So. It will. Already the negotiators are in sittings. They have been meeting to see how they can incorporate everyone into this referendum.
Now we are going to have BBI 4.
BBI 4 ambayo hakuna competition, and I think without competition it's going to be cheaper.
Yes.
Isn't it? nakaribisha wote, and what I want to assure people who want to join this NOPEU party is you own the party. Hapa hakuna ujue dosi ndio upatiwe certificate. Hapa ni wewe usimame na watu yako kwa mlolongo, wakupigie primaries, ushinde, hakuna mtu anakuzia certificate. Hii ni chama ya raia. Niko na ofisi pale Lavington, Skyview, niko na ofisi Bunyala Road opposite the CMC. Those are party offices. And tunatengeneza sahi system pamoja na website ambayo tutashare na watu very soon. Ndio kila mtu akuja kwa hii chama. And this is where the ordinary mwananchi belongs.
Yupo.
Yes.
Watu ambao wanataka kuingia chama ni NOPEU pale Sky.
Twitter NOPEU watatupata pale. Waangalia yangu inaitwa Rodgers Kipembe.
Rodgers Kipembe Mpuru.
Yes.
Pale Twitter na pia Facebook page tafuta pale Rodgers Kipembe uweze kukaa na SG wenu wa NOPEU.
Yes.
Na kama unatafuta chama unasema chama ni nini? Chama ni NOPEU. Muchendu. Okay, kafunga.
I think I just want to appreciate one thing that happened last night. I'm a sport person. I'm a football enthusiast. And I am very proud of what happened at the game of PSG when an officer decided to call the assistant coach a Negro. And the two teams decided to walk out of the match. And I want to say it is a milestone in a fight against racism in this world. So I want to applaud what has happened in France yesterday. And I want to play that the World Football Governing Body takes note of the fight against racism. Because some of the biggest beneficiaries of professional football in the world are the Africans. And they have been subjected to racism for a very long time. So I want to really applaud the teams that were competing in Stade de France yesterday and say that the world is heading in the right direction and this country must not be left behind in heading in the right direction, including curing the problems with our economy. I'm still hoping and waiting that other than hearing about BBI every day, I want to hear the post-economic recovery programs from this republic so that we can also head the same way the world is heading. Most countries, have suspended most activities to concentrate on the economic recovery program. And I think that is what this government needs.
All right.
Yes, so today I just want to appreciate every young Kenyan who is there doing his bit to build this republic. Shall we continue praying that the wisdom we believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta had when we gave him the manifesto to lead this country, that God will probably at night reveal to him the right way to move so that he can go back to the right track and this republic goes on. Otherwise, I pray that the Lord may bless every Kenyan. He may watch over you. He may bless the work of your hands. He may see you when you go out and when you come back. Bless your family and bless this republic.
NOPEU. Tukiada. Asante sana. Thank you so much you guys who have joined us. Tuendelee kujenga jamhuri. Mtu wa NOPEU amesema kama unataka kuingia chama, ingia NOPEU, tafuta Mpuru Kipembe pale Twitter na pia pale Facebook. Asante sana. It's been a pleasure to have you guys as usual. The tacklers who have joined us online. It's always a pleasure to have you. You want to wish a very great day. By the way, we're almost breaking for Christmas. Tunataka kusema kwamba Christmas njema. Tuanze kuimba very soon. Intro itakuwa chakua Sauti Sol. Tuanza kuweka sasa. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is the Tackle and the Tackle ends now. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.